It's beginning to look a lot like wood. Follow my every step. Take notes on how I crept. I'm about to go in depth. This is the way I greet my season. Here's my ghetto rep.
Who are you?
What Speaking Freedom does online is provide general information for the culture to use to advance and improve. What we do privately is help individualize it for your needs and benefits. Grow with us.
We are kings, we are gods, but how you get them to believe it when they don't believe in anything? We're going to save some lives in this lifetime. We haven't church in a while. Like God's doctor in these streets, the Holy Ghost used me to set them free. If love is the new religion, the hate is sinning, we stay winning. Just handling God's business, we ain't tripping. No bread to be dipping.
'Cause we're speaking freedom, giving you the answers to be free.
We use the client to develop, to grow, and to bring out the best in themselves. We are simply a tool to help you learn how to make better decisions. Not just one decision, not just today, but for the rest of your life. Encouraging each person through each trial and tribulation.
Work call. Yeah, man. Gotta go in here and dance, but I don't get tired.
Speaking Freedom presents Good Head Group, providing advanced spiritual studies and personal developmental insight. Brought to you by Love Gang and Speaking Freedom. We look forward to helping you grow in all the areas of your life. We hope that you find all the information needed for your growth. God bless. Please listen to all disclaimers provided. If you are currently under physician's care, please maintain that relationship. This is not intended to stop your current treatment plan. If you need physician care, please seek out medical attention. Please note, all results are based on the individual's ability to adapt and adjust to any given environment and situation. We are not responsible for your results at Speaking Freedom. The life enhancement coaches at Speaking Freedom provide information to help you grow. You are responsible for maintaining that growth, taking on and then applying the information to your individual life as you deem needed and necessary. This may contain and explain explicit content. Please use parental discretion. For best results, you will need an open mind, the ability to research, and a balanced lifestyle. Sometimes it's interesting to see what people will run with. There are some people that will run with good vibes. There are some people that will run with bad vibes. There are some people that will catch your vibe and then help you switch your vibe and make it better. So sometimes it's interesting to see what people run with. Like if people that run, the people that only run with bad vibes, they won't have nothing positive to say when you're being positive, when you're being optimistic, when you're being a certain way. But as soon as you say something negative, they run with it. I mean, and they run so far with it that them running with the bad vibes, if you're not a person that always have bad vibes and you're more of an optimistic person, seeing the wrong person run with your negative vibes and encourage you into more negativity will make you be positive. While on the other end, if you're always a positive person and people only gravitate to your positivity and they encourage your positivity, they always do that. Then when you become down, out, depressed, tired, overwhelmed, or anything, then those people will lift you back up because they're going to almost try to figure out what's going on and try to figure out a way to encourage you back into your good vibes. Now, how things go really rely on you, because if you're a positive person, then eventually you're going to always get back to your positive light. If you're feeling any type of way, then whatever that is, when that wears off, you will go back to being positive. If you are a negative person or someone that focuses more on the bad, the pessimistic side of things, then no matter what good a person say, they're going to always bring it back down to a medium or a negative vibe. And if you just, whoever you are is going to determine where your overall vibe ends up at. Now, the thing is some people don't know who they are. So if you don't know who you are, you can't gravitate back to positivity, because that's not who you are. If you're a negative person, even if somebody try to be positive, nothing that's going to come back to you will be positive. It's going to always be mediocre or negative. Even if they can get you up there for a second, if you don't begin to train your mind to always look for the good, to always, and sometimes people think that you being negative if you're pointing out things that need to be addressed and corrected, or if you're trying to help someone to understand where your mindset is, that can come off as negativity. Now, sometimes your mindset be somewhere so totally different on such a regular basis that it will make you be awkwardly honest. And I say awkwardly honest because if I'm being honest with you about something, that doesn't make me negative. That just means that this is how I see what's truly going on that's before me for me to take in. Now, if you're, let's say, I just went through some posts that talk about how much communication is important, and this video will allow me to extend why communication is important. Because if I'm talking to you privately and me and you are having dope, in-depth conversations, I'm able to tell you how I feel. I'm able to really open up to you, whether I'm upset, whether I'm in a good space, no matter what the case may be. If we communicate, especially if we interact or follow each other on social media, then it don't matter what I post, because we've already communicated. We've already established how we feel, why we feel, how we gonna move if something changes. We've already made that one-on-one connection up close and personal. So it doesn't matter what I post online. If we've already discussed and I've told you how I feel or what I'm thinking or how we gonna do this and how we gonna move forward and do that and all of these other things, then in my view, no matter what I say on social media, you should understand what we've discussed one-on-one. And this is why offline one-on-one communication is important when people are really in your life. Like, not that fake, oh, we cool because we cool online in your life, but hey, I've sat down and we've talked about this. We've discussed that. You know how I feel. You know why I feel how I feel. So there's never a room for mixed signals or a miscommunication, because if I'm laying on my man's chest right now and I'm in love and we just had great sex and he's cuddling with me and rubbing on my ass while I'm posting this, I'm hypothetically speaking, but I'm speaking as though this is the way I want your mindset to think. If we're laying here and I get online and I post, man, one, I try not to ever post anything that's too negative. But a lot of my truth comes down hard because I don't really express publicly when I have private frustrations and I'm working things out with people. However, there are times when both of them occur where I say something, but it's been said so many times, and the reason why I'm saying it is significant to where I'll just say it because I'm not the only one person that thinks like this. There's no way in the world that I'm the only person that has this train of thought in certain particular subjects. Now, everybody might not speak it because normally I don't speak it because, like, why do I got to say that? The people that's really in my life know what's going on in my life. We've communicated, we understand. But if we talk about it, then I can post anything on my timeline. See, but because I don't post a lot of negative things, it won't seem as though I'm ever really being negative. Or when I do say some real shit, it'd be like, damn, what happened? Because I'm always so positive. Well, I really don't even post that much now. I'm always so optimistic in my thought process that when I say some real shit, it always comes off as negative. Even if I'm not trying to be negative, even if I'm just being like, okay, so I ain't smoked, and because I haven't smoked, I am thinking about things more intensely. Because things go on in life on a regular basis, you always have to evaluate and think about how you're moving forward. Just so happens for me, I'm in the process of just figuring out what I'm doing on social media, if I'm going to be on social media, because I'm really tired of it. But it's the most effective way to put out information. However, with that, it makes me think about all of my frustrations within what I do. And if it's worth the frustration, or if I can just change it and do something new. And honestly, I'm in the do something new realm in every area of my life, for various reasons. But it's just it's so important, one, to communicate privately with people that you privately for real know, so that when you post, it don't seem like, oh my God, here we go. Although sometimes it is, oh my God, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Like, but with saying that, you have to, because you can gauge people. To get back to what we started on, you can gauge people by what you post. So sometimes it's good to post super real shit so that people can see, where you stand at as you making this next transition. And anybody new, they can catch up. Anybody that's old, they already know how shit go. But you can use that as a gauge. So if I post something, even when I'm having a good day, even if nothing is going on, even if whatever, and I post something to see where a person's mind is at, what they're going to gravitate to, it tells me about where your mindset is. Because when I'm happy, if you don't post things that go along with my happiness and my cheerfulness, and you're always trying to bring it to somewhere negative, then that lets me know that as soon as I go negative, you're going to be like, yep, I told you, and you just should get over it, and you should just, like, your mindset would tell me more about who you are for real than anything else. Now, if I have a bad day, a bad moment, or, something happen or something go on, then your mindset is going to be like, oh yeah, and it's going to try to make it worse. Versus if I have a good day and you try to bring me lower to where your mindset is, then that also speaks. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was saying all of this because when I post certain things, it comes off a certain way. And if I like, sometimes I don't post it all for real. Sometimes I'm going through files and I'm posting old shit that always still makes sense right now. And people gravitate to what they think versus if it's what they know or not. And if you are able to use that to help you understand the people that you are dealing with, the people that you're tuning into or following, the people that you gravitate to, then that can help you gauge on what you need to improve in. And it can help you assess where people need to be when it comes to where you stand, because everybody doesn't need to be around. If the minute that I have something bad go on, or I say something negative, or I say something that expresses a lower mindset opinion, then you try to, and you grab onto that, but you can't never grab onto when I say something positive, then that's not the energy that I need around the most, because I need you to lift me up when I'm feeling down, when I'm feeling out, when I'm feeling tired. Don't agree with me about, oh yeah, because I'm so tired too. Yeah, we both can be tired, but what are we going to do to encourage each other in order to be more of who we need to be, of who we're called to be, of who we really are, if we're not always feeling down or in a lower thought process? Because every day in a spiritual light, it's not always, you know what I'm saying, you're not every single day. Most days you are good. Most days you have a positive mindset, you're able to maintain, you know the bigger picture. But there are days where, when things aren't flowing in the way that they were supposed to be, the way that it was designed to be, then there is, and people say that you know, if you stay abreast with God, aligned with God, then God will show you how to do things. God will mold you into things that you do, so when it comes, it won't get the best of you. So, you know, when I say I plan, I'm not planning based on what I think is the best thing, because it's a lot of things that personally I would do differently than what I'm doing. There's a lot of things that preemptively happen, but overall, I have to go with what my soul call is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can go and I can be distracted. Man, I could do so many different things that could change my pockets, but it wouldn't be good for my soul. So instead of trying to do what's good for my pockets, instead of what's good for my soul, I always lean to what's good for my soul. And I neglect the things that other people would do to fluff their pockets, because my soul is more important than how much money I have. Because I already know that if I change 1, 2, 3, or 4 things, that financially, money is like come second nature. You know what I'm saying? There's never a time where I have to think about that when I know what I know about my mindset, what I know about myself, how I know that just a couple things could make a whole situation totally different. So, in saying all of that too, my whole purpose was to talk about your mindset and learning how to identify who's around you by what they gravitate to, based on what you're going through. You don't always need people that's going, oh yeah, and encourage you to think poorly. You need people that's going to say, okay, but what did you learn from that? Okay, now how do you go about improving that so that you don't have to experience this again? So like, if I went through something before, I'm not going to keep going through that over and over and over again. I'm just not, because at some point, personally, I'm going to sit back and think, okay, well, these are the decisions that got me in this particular situation. And if these are the decisions that got me in this situation, then what type of decisions do I make to not be in this situation again? Sometimes, what decisions do I make to get me out of this situation? What can I change If it involves anybody else, then it's more, okay, what can we do together? How can I do what I'm supposed to do differently to encourage the best of us both? You know what I'm saying? Like, so, let's say, let's say there are some limitations on how I move and who I associate with. Now this is funny because it's funny and I'm laughing. Let's say some limitations on because of the type of relationships that go on. It's like, okay, let's say you've been in the feds before and you got a felony. You can't hang with felons no more. I mean, like, you can, but you can't get caught hanging with other convicted felons because y'all not, especially if you're on parole or probation or any type of papers that say that two convicted felons can't hang together. And if you get caught with hanging with a convicted felon, you're going to face some charges. This is perfect. So and I'm not saying being a convicted felon is perfect. This is just the perfect situation to describe the instance in which I'm talking about, but that's not necessarily my life. So if you get caught with a convicted felon and you a convicted felon and y'all both on papers, both of y'all going to jail. If the one person is a convicted felon, but you the only one on papers, then you gonna go to jail. And I'm not laughing at this. It's just the narrative is so perfect that I hope you get it and I hope you understand. So now, if now I gotta hang out with people that's not convicted felons, or I gotta be by myself until I'm no longer on papers. So, and this is to not say you can't hang out with somebody that has never been in jail before or that ain't never, you know what I'm saying? But specifically, especially if they're your co-defendants, it's sometimes that you get caught doing some shit and you can't even be with your co-defendant anymore. And they gonna say it specifically by name. You and this person are not allowed to connect, talk, link up, none of that. Y'all just cannot be in the same room at the same time for any reason because y'all are co-defendants. Or if somebody if somebody is stalking me and I get a restraining order, then that person can't be around me. They shouldn't be on my Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like, just leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, if when you get into situations like that, you have to begin to change who you are around. You have to begin to understand the controlled narrative in which you live in now. And if that's the case, then I'm not going to keep hanging around the people that I know is going, but I am going to now see how I can move differently. So that even, like, let's say I'm not supposed to be around, like, I don't have my baby daddy around me at all, ever. Nigga, never, don't come to my house. You ain't allowed here type of vibes. And this is, I'm not being nasty, messy, mean, or anything like that. We just don't have that type of relationship. And so we meet somewhere else to exchange our children. I don't trust him to have him at my home, but I still have to trust him with my children. So we may not ever be chilling at my crib together or his. But when Naya had a birthday party, we were both at the same place at the same time in celebration of our child. And it's kind of like that in a lot of different situations. Where you have to learn how to move around whatever your situation and your demographics place you in as far as your life goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people demographics just place them in a fucked up situation. And when they in them demographics, you have to learn how to move around in order to still get what you need to get done. Like, convicted felons hang out with each other all the time. Convicted felons don't get caught hanging out with each other all of the time. People that have restraining orders might be in the same place at the same time. The person on the other side of that restraining order never get caught being at that same place at that same time. And in that situation, it may be like, oh, I noticed the person that has a restraining order against me is here, so I need to go. Oh, I know this person that, I know this person about to get into some trouble, or the police is around. So one of us needs to get the fuck up out of here, or something going down and the police is coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, we may not hang together, but we might have to be seen together, but not in a situation where it's going to make either one of us, you know what I'm saying, be in trouble or have some difficult results. Like, I'm never going to put myself where I feel like I got to be on guard in my home more than the parameters and the security that's already set up. But that doesn't mean that I won't never have to place myself in a position where I may be vulnerable. And all of this is still relevant to where your mindset goes, because again, we're not ever trying to think the worst case scenario. I am never trying to think of what's the worst case scenario to any situation that I'm in. I'm not trying to think of the worst case scenario with any person that I'm dealing with ever in my life. But I am going to be realistic and think of the realistic level and all of the pluses if they exist. Now, if everything that come with you is bad, then I'm not going, you know what I'm saying, be like, oh no, they really a good person, but you really a fuck nigga doing all type of fuck nigga shit. Like, I am not going to blind myself in order to paint somebody to be a better person than they really are. Now, you may not be a bad person, and I may just have a bad experience. But even in me having a bad experience with someone, I'm not going to try to paint them like, oh, they just a bad person all around. It's just in my experience, you're showing me something that would have me not around you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're showing me something that's turning me completely off based on my experience, based on how we've communicated, based on our closeness or the lack thereof, based on, you know what I'm saying? But based on those terms and conditions is where I am going to base the conversation. I'm not going to fluff you up to be more than who you really are if you're not really that person. But I'm not going to harp on your most negative traits either. I'm just going to be realistic and speak growth into whatever the situation is. So if I see, like, man, if I'm dreading an interaction, it's either because of anxiety or because it's some real negative vibes going on. Like, it could be either or. And I try not to let the anxiety get the best of me, because then I'll miss opportunities, and I am totally aware that that's a possibility. However, determining if it's anxiety, if it's guardedness, if it's or if it's something different, if it's like, nah, it's some real foul negative shit going on over there, and I just don't want to be involved in that foul negative shit, because if it's just the anxiety and you're guarded and your protectiveness over something, then those are things that you can work out and you can still, you know what I'm saying, do whatever it is you're trying to do. But if you discover that there's some real foul shit, some real negative ass shit going on, and you feel like people are trying to draw you into something that's negative, then you got to be able to determine, based on that scale of, do they always be positive, or are they more negative, or are they more realistic, or do they veer to the negative and they're trying to be positive? Because some people, I've seen it, there are a lot of people that are positive but really, really negative. Like, they say stuff that's supposed to be uplifting, but it's so negative that it could be like, and sometimes this is where I may have room to grow, because there are some times where you have to be real, but the way you narrate that realness can determine on if it seems more negative than positive. If you're always trying to down somebody or find the most negative things to say, or always, you know what I'm saying, then you should evaluate that. You have to begin to find the way to speak the positive, even when something has a negative undertone. But if you give things a negative undertone, then you will be looked at as you're being a negative person. But if you're calling a spade or a club, if you calling a fuck nigga and he really a fuck nigga, then it just is what it is. But if you are seeing a person that has the potential to be something better, and they're just stuck in a awkward place, then if you speak fuck nigga shit on him and he ain't no fuck nigga, then you're planting those negative seeds. When if he's just in a stuck place, then you could have spoke positivity in him and taken him somewhere else. And this is the thing when addressing some relationship issues and trying to be real or whatever, because if you are dealing with people who are healed, and I think I've said this before, and you're dealing with and you're helping to encourage newer relationships that both separately had different issues to heal from in past relationships, and now they're trying to come together and they're finding their norm, and they're getting in alignment with their own balance, and you address them getting in alignment as some negative fuckboy shit, then you will spew negative fuckboy vibes when that ain't even really what it is for real. When it's just them growing through something that they're now getting the opportunity to go through, because everybody don't go through the same thing, so they won't grow through the same things. So there are some things for me that I have to grow through because I've never gone through them before, and it's not a negative experience because this is my first experience, so there is really no mistakes. I'm just growing through something that's uncomfortable for me. But if you only see the negative part in that, and you start spewing out doubt to where somebody can pick up on some doubt, then if I'm just growing through something and you start feeding into my doubts when you could have veered into something more positive, if that's your nature in thinking, then you're going to feed doubt when you should supposed to be feeding the love, the positive, the optimistic, the possibilities, and the endlessness on that end. So I guess the overall thing that I'm saying now is more about first the communication, because if I can talk to you personally one-on-one, then you never have to worry about something that I said or something that I did, because we've already established an understanding. However, if So when I post, like I said, I could be here laid up right now. So, but when I post, if I'm posting about something that's other than what I know to be true, then I get to gauge whoever is reading that based on how they respond to what I'm saying. So if you always come with something negative when I'm positive or negative, and then you make me feed doubts, then that's who I'm going to see you as. But if you feed my positive mindset to think more, grow within whatever it is I'm experiencing, especially if it's because I'm experiencing it for the first time, and this is a new normal to my life, and especially if you're trying to get into my life for the first time, then you have to create, you have to display the mindset that you're bringing into what we're building. Because if you don't, then I can't allow you into what I'm building if I don't think that you can bring something that's going to feed the positivity and the love and the light that's in me, versus allowing my doubts and my thoughts and the realism to take over more than what God is making available.
I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I live what I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity. Because the greatest love of all inside of me is sexuality.
Thank you for joining Speaking Freedom as we continue to assist you with your daily growth and intuitive wisdom. Loving is a lifestyle and we love to love. Inspiration is how we fuel faith. Please join us daily for your inspiration and motivation.
We have the entire world to offer you at your fingertips. Your life enhancement coaching specialist. Thank you for choosing us to assist you in accomplishing your personal and professional goals. And have a beautiful day. In love, we trust. This is brought to you by Good Head Group, Love Gang, and Speaking Freedom. We thank God for you, and we love you.